When you say yoga, what we mean is asanas. But asana is only one part of what is called yoga. And some people call it yog because in Hindi it is called yog, but actually Sanskrit word is yoga. Y-O-G-A. So I'll stick to the Sanskrit original and not the Hindi. And even Kannada, we call it as yoga only. Now let us say what is health. And this is the definition of health as per Sushruta and Sushruta Samhita, maybe some 3000 years old. He defines health as sama dosha, sama agni, sama dhatu, malakriya, prasanna atma, indriya, manaha, swastha iti abhidhiyate. This is what is health. Sama dosha. Ayurveda talks about three things. They are called doshas. Doshas is not a disability. These are the three principles. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Kapha is all related to the lubrication of the bodily movements, whether it is lubrication within the joints, lubrication of the, when you breathe air also, it has to be lubricated, because otherwise, like if you start breathing from the mouth, because the nose is blocked, you can see the mouth is dry. Now here 24 hours into 365 into number of years we are breathing through the wind pipe. It doesn't go dry because there is a lubricant there. Only thing, when it goes too high, then it becomes what you call it as kapha, and then you have to throw it out. The minimum is required. So kapha is that tattva. Vata is all related to the movement of the air within the body. And air is not just the what you breathe. We have got gas, we say gas formation, various types of panchavayus are there. Then Pitta is all related to digestion, all the gastric juices. So all three have to be in harmony, they have to be in balance. Sama Agni. Agni is related to your digestion should be proper. Sama Dhatu, what food you intake, that is converted into what is called as rasa, then it becomes rakta, then it becomes mamsa, etc. There are 7 things. And lastly is called shukra. And shukra is related to, at the cellular level, the cell has to reproduce so that you get replenishment for the cells which are dying. Malakriya, the waste, when it is converted from rasa to rakta, rakta to mamsa, mamsa to meda, and right up to the shukra, waste products are there. Either they're excreted through our intestines, large intestine, or they excreted through the kidneys as urine, or they excreted through perspiration, through the sweat glands. Proper excretion of the waste products takes place properly. Your soul is happy, prasanna atma. Your indriyas, your eyes and ears and all the pancha indriyas, they are working fine. Your mind is contented, and that is called health. Now, how this is achieved by yoga is what I am going to discuss. So how can yoga help in achieving this good health as per this definition? But just having no diseases, as per the Western definition of health, is not health at all. When I say yoga, the father of yoga is the one who compiled all the yogic philosophy into one compilation called Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He's the one who lived 500 BC. He was a contemporary of Lord Buddha. Not that he wrote for the first time, because yoga comes in Vedas, yoga comes in Upanishads, yoga comes in Bhagavad Gita. But he compiled it into 196 sutras. Each sutra is of 2 lines of Sanskrit shloka. But he doesn't talk about whether it is asana or pranayama. In the entire 196, there are 2 slokas. One sloka on asana and one sloka on pranayama. But the philosophy of yoga, why yoga is required, he doesn't talk about your bodily health. Yoga, by definition, is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. That means cessation of the mental activities. That means the mind is always moving here and there. Fixing it in one place. That is the aim of yoga. And that state where we reach, it is called as samadhi. So idea of Patanjali is to reach samadhi. And to reach that, there are 8 wings. They are not 8 steps. Because step means you have to go one by one. These are wings. That's why I call it Ashtanga Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. 8 limbs. And the limbs are starting from Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. You can say, I don't want to go through all this. I straight away want to go to Samadhi. That means I want to get only into meditation, because all these from here, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, are actually preparation for Samadhi. If you say, no, I have no time to do all those things, I want to go here, you may reach, because these are not steps, these are angas. But if one goes by this one, the probability of success of reaching Samadhi is higher. But each one contributes to reach towards Samadhi. Now, Yama, Niyama, there are 5 of them each. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya is not stealing. Brahmacharya, concentrating the energy, not allowing the energy to dissipate it in various manners. Like if you're a bachelor, you should not be using energy to get into sexual activities. When you're married, you use it only with your spouse. Aparigraha is not stealing, but not even thinking of getting something that you don't think you deserve it. Now, this has got very good implications for our character building. Now, aparigraha means you will not steal credit from someone. Like you're working in a company and somebody has done some good work and you want to impress your boss that I have done it. And later it will be found out. But short term, you may think that, yeah, if I steal the credit from this person, I will be able to get some extra benefits. But that is wrong. So aparigraha is to even go to the extent. Ahimsa means not only indulging in violence, physical violence, you should not be hurting anyone. Like if you're a customer, you should not writing very rude because the customer has insulted you, customer has written something nasty about you, you want to give it back to that person. Think of ahimsa. I cannot indulge in violence, whether it is physical violence or mental violence. Even the thought should not come to me that I will harm this guy. Even in the corporate world, it is. And Satya, you should not be telling something about your product when you know it is not true. Because sometimes you'll find out and then your business will go down. So it has got implications for our corporate life also, apart from character development. Niyama, there are again 5. Shaucha, cleanliness. You may try to get into Samadhi, but you don't take bath for 3 months. Others surrounding you will go to Samadhi rather than you, because you'll be stinking so much. So Shaucha is physical cleanliness. And when it comes to Hatha Yoga, it is not of the physical cleanliness outside the body, inside the body. All the, your wind tunnel, it is the windpipe and your inside the body, inside the nose. We'll talk about it when I talk about something known as Kriyas. So entire body has to be kept clean from inside and outside. Santosha is contentment, like positive energy. You're always oozing out positive energy, thinking of what is good for you and what is good for the world, and not, oh, I don't have this one, my boss is always kadus and I can't get irritated when I look at that person. So in that case, you will not be happy, because you will not be happy, you will not be healthy also, because you're always talking of negative. Tapas is putting so much of effort into something. Tapa is heat. You know, like gold is purified by heat. Similarly, you should purify yourself by hard work. Swadhyaya means self-study. Now here is maybe referring to self-study of the scriptures, but what you are doing currently is self-study. Every day morning coming and undergoing training from Narendra Singh. That is self-study. And then reading your own things. Because unless you read and further improve your knowledge, you're going to get stuck somewhere. And all these things you work and do whatever hard work, but still no, whatever career I'm looking for, that is not coming through. Now, can you blame anybody? You say, okay, I think everything has got time and place. Right now, it is not my time. So, Ishvara Pranidhana means, okay, leave it to God. That is, what is not possible to be solved right now, then why worry about it? That is, Stephen Covey talks about circle of influence and circle of concern. What is in the circle of influence is something you can do something about it. There are certain things beyond you. There are so many other circumstances. Leave it to that. Don't worry about it. Concentrate on what is possible. So, what is the circle of concern is Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to the higher self. So, if we even practice this one, our character in life in general, in relationship with personal things, also relationship with the entire workforce in the company and the rest of the citizens becomes so much better. Patanjali talks about asana only in one shloka, that is called Sthira Sukham Asanam. That means when you are sitting for meditation, your posture should be such that you are sthira. That means you are stable. You are not roaming. You are roaming around like this. Because if you do like this, then you cannot do meditation. No? Or you are sitting on a seat which is not stable. You are worried about whether chair will break. So it should be sthira. You should be sitting in a sthira. So I am sitting in a Ardha Padmasana. And Ardha Padmasana makes you so that your backbone is erect. Your spinal cord is straight. So if you sit with the legs down, that you will slightly bending forward. So when you're sitting in meditation, you sit in Ardha Padmasana. And it should be sukham. When you sit in an asana, you should not be paining here and there. My knee is paining, my joints are paining, my ankles are paining. No, it should be sthira sukham asana. This is only shloka, only sutra which Patanjali talks about. And only one sutra when he talks about pranayama. Out of 196, only these two are there. Now, pranayama, he also doesn't talk about pranayama as the in like what you have to do. Which pranayama, prana is energy. Energy flow in the body, it has to be balanced properly. And the technique for that is harmonizing the breath. So breath is used for harmonizing the energy in the body. Then comes the preparation for samadhi. Pratyahara means we got 5 senses. You got the eyes, you got the ears, you got the nose for the smell, you got the tongue for the taste, you got the skin for the touch. These are the 5 indriyas. Now suppose I'm teaching here, suppose I got a good music from from my window here. If I get distracted by that, then my work here will not continue. Or I get too much of cool breeze, my entire skin is getting frozen. So ensuring that your mind is not disturbed by the 5 senses is pratyahara. First step towards concentration. Then comes dharana. That is confining your mind into, so typically what we do is you concentrate on the breathing. So that 5 minutes, 10 minutes you are doing meditation. Your concentration is breathing. Even if mind wanders somewhere here and there, bring it back and start breathing. Or people say counting 10 to 9, 10, 9, 8, etc. Some method to ensure that the mind does not wander around here and there. That is dharana. Dhyana. Typically, even Buddha's statues have seen he's sitting in such a pose with a gentle smile. So this is where you get into increased concentration. And then you reach a stage called samadhi. Then you are able to identify yourself with the higher self. And our scriptures say that we are consciousness, which are part of the supreme consciousness. When you reach this stage, supreme consciousness, we are able to see the supreme consciousness. Like sea is full of waves. And because it is full of waves, even if you look down, you can't look at the bottom of the sea because the waves are there. Suppose the waves are completely stabilized, no waves, and water any case supposed to be transparent without any impurities. In that case, we are able to see the bottom of the sea. And bottom of the sea is the supreme consciousness, or you can call God, Ishvara, whatever it is. Being secular, you can say it is supreme consciousness. You are able to identify with the supreme consciousness at the samadhi stage. And when that state reaches, even before the state reaches, you are, according to Patanjali, you are able to get various siddhis. That means I can enter your body and find out what you are thinking. I can be in two different places, but Patanjali says, don't get greedy and stop your meditation just because you've got some extra siddhis. The idea of yoga is not to get siddhis. They are a byproduct of that. Further go up to the samadhi state. And then you will get clarity. And then, where the Western people, they talk about the law of attraction, they talk about the secret. That means when you desire something with all your strong desire, the universe will give it to you. The Think and Grow Rich book by Napoleon Hill talks about that. When you reach that stage of samadhi, and when you tell yourself, this is what I want this job, I want this CTC, that desire translates itself in and transmits itself to the supreme consciousness, and supreme consciousness, the universe, says Tatastu. So when you desire something, when you are in this samadhi state, it helps even in your career. Now, we may not reach the samadhi state, that is not easy. But even in the stage one below that, when you are in the concentration, that's what we do in meditation. At that stage, right, tell yourself what is that you want. And visualize yourself that you're already in that place, in that position. And that comes through, and that is the principle on which the something known as vision board is talked about. That is the same thing what psycho-cybernetics of Malcolm Waltz talks about. You're visualizing, you're already there. And when you're in the meditative state, visualizing, automatically it gets transmitted to the universe. So even from the point of your career things, it is useful. Now, since Patanjali didn't write about asana, then people will say, what are these various asanas we do, Surya Namaskar we do, and Bhujangasana we do. That came later in this. Exact time is not known because things are lost. But somewhere between 10th century and 15th century, Hatha Yoga came. Ha stands for the energy which is flowing on the left side of the spinal column. Tha stands for the energy column which is on the right side of the spinal column. So Ha, Tha. Balancing this so that it gets into the middle channel, that is known as the Sushumna Nadi, that is Hatha Yoga. And there they talk about different asanas, and they say actually there are 84 lakhs asanas. One asana based on one species. When they say 84 lakhs, it doesn't mean that 84 lakh they counted. As many species are there, that many asanas. So there is one asana called Mayura Asana on the Mayura bird, that is the peacock. There is Shalabhasana, based on that grasshopper. So each animal, there is dog pose. Now 84,000 or 84 lakhs, we cannot do it. So we are given a set of 84 asanas by one author, by Smatva Rama, there is Gheranda Samhita, different authors. But even 84 also is beyond our capacity for our normal working. So Swatma Rama is considered as the founder of the Hatha Yoga tradition. Where it talks, and Gheranda Samhita, Gheranda Maharishi, where he talks about the entire human body as a mud pot. Now, mud pot has to be made strong by putting it into the fire. So that's also called Ghatha Yoga. Ghatha is the mud pot. Now, there in Hatha Yoga, they talk about not just the asanas and pranayamas. Ultimate aim is to reach samadhi. Now, if there is full of extra kapha here, you're not even able to breathe properly. Now, that has to be cleansed. So, there is neti. You put water into this, not just water, warm saline water. Take water into this one, take it from here. Take water from here, take it from here. You can take a normal small plastic bottle, put saline water. You don't have to do every day. I'm talking when nose is fully blocked because of some cough, cold, etc. Or you have gone out to some dusty place and it is blocked. If it remains there tomorrow, I would definitely going to get nose blocked because that will have some bacteria ingested into that. So you have to clean it up. And especially in cities, it's good to do it at least once a week or whenever you find that there is some dirt accumulating there. And the salt water is because of the osmosis, it will drag out things from the inside this cell lining also. It's called Vamana Dauti, where you take some 10, 12 glass of saline warm water and then put your hand there and vomit it out. I had done these two things when I was doing my MSc in Yogic Science, which I completed from 2016 to 2018. So I had done these two things. I was not able to do this one where you have to some 2.5 meters cloth of 4 inches width. You have to swallow it. Swallow it. It's to go to the, you should have go to the stomach area and then take it out. And my classmates were able to do it the entire thing in 2 minutes. Mine used to get stuck here. And then our professor said, don't do this. It may not be required for you. You continue to do the Vaman Dauti. This is good. Because the cleanliness happens with that also. So all this extra kachra is there in the food pipe, etc. That gets taken out. But don't try this one. It has to be done under the supervision of a yogic therapist. I'm just telling you, so many other things are there in the Shuddhikaran Kriya, that is purification things. Because to do pranayama, your nose should not be blocked. Na? If you find that it is blocked, do this one and then you have to get into pranayama. Then you do asana. I'll give a list of asanas to give to. Now, sometimes you are not able to bend like this. So, whatever the benefit of having a therapeutic effect, because you are not able to bend like this, you are deprived from here. Suppose you say there is a lot of headache and your brain is not getting enough blood supply. It can be cured by Shirshasana, where your head is down, but then your neck is weak. And if you stand on a head, you might get some spondylitis problems. So why deprive someone of the therapeutic effect just because one part of the body is weak? So Iyengar started something known as Iyengar Yoga. He died some years back in Pune, in the Pune ashram. He was very, very sick in childhood and people gave up that, as a boy itself, he'll die. But he continued he did this yoga and he actually started this, invented this Iyengar Yoga, and he died at the age of 93. What they do is they use props. The props are like, you're not able to bend like this. Okay, put a chair there. At least this part of the leg is taken care of because your leg is not able to reach here because maybe stomach is fat. You cannot reach. It has to, this is halasana. Hala is the plow of the farmer. You are not able to reach the floor level. Okay, no problem. Support it here, but at least the benefit you will get from the thyroid glands by bending it here, that benefit you're getting. So after I finished my MSc, I started a yoga therapy center, investing my own money. I ran it for 1 year. After that, I closed it because it was not making any financial, I was paying 9,000 rupees for the rent and about 10,000-20,000 rupees for the salaries of 2 people. Basically, I started it because I wanted to help my 2 classmates of MSc yoga to get a job. So 1 year I said, okay, let me invest and see whether so this is me only in one of the props of Iyengar Yoga. And there's another classmate of mine, can't do, just people who cannot do Shirshasana, you are suspended from a rope so that your neck doesn't get load, but your brain gets enough blood supply. So therapeutic use, those who are not able to do the other asanas can get into Iyengar Yoga. Now, there is something known as a Pancha Kosha theory. Pancha Kosha theory talks about we are made of 5 sheaths. Annamaya Kosha, that is the physical body that we have. Pranamaya Kosha, which is the energy body. And there is a difference between physical body and energy body. Sometimes we get up in the morning, everything is all right. If you check your blood pressure, it is all right. If you find out the breathing rate, it is all right. Your heart rate is all right. Everything is all right. But you say, don't feel like doing anything today. There is no energy at all. That means in addition to the physical body, there is also energy body, which is not considered in the Western science. They only talk about body, mind, heart, and soul. Good body, but no energy is also possible. So what is the Pranamaya Kosha? Then Manomaya Kosha is your mind. In mind for emotions. Mind, not the learning mind, the emotional mind, Bhavanatmak. And then comes the Vijnanaya Kosha, where is the repository of all your knowledge and attitude and skills. And lastly, the happiness, Anandamaya Kosha, the blissful body. Now, each one of them needs to be taken care of. Then only the Ayurvedic definition of health will be fulfilled. Let us see Annamaya Kosha, how you can take care of by means of yoga. Now, yoga, as I said, it is the Hatha Yoga also talks about your food intake. Your food intake, your stomach capacity, depending on stomach capacity, the solid food only should be half of it, 50% of the stomach capacity with rice or roti or the solid food. 25% should be liquid. The liquid can be buttermilk or water or sambar, whatever it is. So 50% plus 25%. Other 25% should be left vacant because it has to be churned for digestion. It has to mix with these stomach acids and that has to be churned. If you don't give that 25% khali and don't give enough liquid there, there is no place for churning. And to digest, it has to secrete more acid. Then you say, I am getting dakar, I am getting sour, belching, I get gas, because you did not allow that place, it has to be digested by using acid. It is dangerous. So ensure that you don't fill up your stomach and go into a party and saying, aaj maine pet bhar kha liya. Very bad. Pet bhar khane se acid zyada hota hai. So ensure that, and of course, all the nutrition things, what all things. Don't eat fruits along with the meal, because suppose you had full 2 roti, 3 rotis, 4 rotis and rice and everything, and maybe non-veg also, and then you on top of that eat fruit. Fruit is something, it doesn't need any time in the stomach. It is something which has to straight away go to the intestine. Now, because your food here, the fruit waits. And when it waits and gets acted upon by the acid, it rots. So fruit has to be eaten either 1 hour before the meal or 1 hour after the meal. So there are certain restrictions like that. Then your Annamaya Kosha is, your digestion is taken care of, your removal of waste material, everything is taken care of. That is one part of looking at. Then, of course, you have to do some physical exercise also. Then do yoga so that your entire various muscles, different asanas will exercise different muscles. They also exercise the internal parts, which exercise doesn't do. And beyond a certain age, too much of exercise is not good because your wear and tear is taking place and your ability to replenish those cells by reproduction of the cells naturally goes down with age. So too much of, suppose you go for 20 kilometers at age 70, your knees will start getting rubbed and you're not able to replace that. So yoga at any age, there is no problem because it doesn't tire you out. At the same time, it exercise even from the inside. And then prana maya kosha. One is you require good breath for your body also. Now pranamaya kosha is not just for the body, it also for the mind. Breathing and mind has got direct control. You can easily make out when you are angry, breathing is faster and breathing is shallower. When you are scared also, breathing is faster, breathing is shallower. When you are shant, when you are peaceful, breathing is long and slow. And when you are getting angry, people say, take 10 long breaths, because there is a shloka in the Hatha Yoga, Swami Swatmarama, Chale vate chalam chittam. That means when breath is unstable, the mind is also unstable. Nischale nischalam bhave. To make the mind steady, keep the breath steady. And pranayama is meant for ensuring that your breath, normally we are supposed to breathe 16 times a minute. And each breath has to be abdominal breath. That means with each breath, this abdominal has come out. Like if you see a small baby sleeping, you see that abdomen is going up and down. If you see a dog sleeping, you see abdomen going up and down. Now, because we are so busy in our work, we have forgotten how to even breathe. The breath comes only up to the lungs. It is not able to push the abdomen, the diaphragm, because the lungs' full capacity is there. It is not able to push it downwards. So we are breathing with half the lungs. And because of we are not using the other half of the lung, that part of the lung becomes inelastic. And once one coronavirus or any other virus gets into the lungs, because you are not able to empty it every time, the virus remains there and then it multiplies. That's why it takes about 2-3 days for you to get full-fledged corona after the first virus has gone inside. So each breath, emptying it out, chances are that along with the breath going exhalation, the virus also will go out. So when you do pranayama, your lung capacity increases. And instead of breathing 16 times a day, you are able to breathe 10 times a day. I am able to breathe without any extra planning. Any plan you can do, breathe 4 times a minute also. Without any planning, when I count my breaths normally, it is about 12 times a minute. And there is a saying that you are, like we, human beings, are sent to this world, itana gunny bags of wheat, तुम्हारा quota, or this many breaths. ज़्यादा खा के वो wheat खत्म हो गया, चलो वापस. जल्दी जल्दी breathe करके, the quota of breath is finished, चलो वापस. Eat less so that the quota remains for a longer time. Breathe slow so that the quota remains for a long time. These are the 2 essentials for your longevity, continued existence, this Ayushya for longer duration. Some pranayama I'll tell you. What I'll do is I'll send you the entire list of asanas that I do with my photographs and my instructions. This is actually a project copy of what I did in MSc when I conducted a 1-month program as part of the MSc, where I taught the lecturers and professors in the government university college in Mangalore. Then calm mind. So this pranayama will ensure that your breathing rate is slow. You will not get angry that fast. You will not get scared so fast because your breath is stabilized. So when you have the urge to give it back to your manager, आपने मैंने इतना काम किया आप appreciate नहीं कर रहे हैं, I want to give it back. Breath says, आराम करो. Because you are slow in breath, anger does not come that easily. I'm telling you from practical experience also. I was also very hyper sensitive. Maybe I was doing some good job in computerization in something as oceanography forecasting cell in Cochin. One of the persons who was earlier in that wrote some criticizing mail. There was no mail, letter. You are. I got so angry, and those days one PC was there. PC, it is without even hard disk. Floppy डाल के. Sad that type किया 2.5 page letter print किया भेज दिया. I took so much. I mean, I was so angry that why is criticizing me? I am doing so much of good work here, which nobody else has done. Computerization. That went viral sort of thing from him to it went to naval headquarters, and naval headquarters to command headquarters. And this finally, I didn't get any blame because I was doing good work. And that person was asked, don't unnecessarily criticize Vijay Kumar because he's doing a good job. But relationship is spoiled between me and him for no rhyme or reason. I could have kept quiet for half an hour. I'll say, "ठीक है, वो complaint कर रहा है," and I'll write one letter saying that, "Sir, I'm doing this good work, and I can always explain to you if you're not understood correctly, or I will seek your guidance because senior to senior hai." But I was hyper those days. Now I am not. Even somebody shout at me, I'll say, "Oh, you must be having some problems." मेरे को problem. You have problems. आराम करो. Without insulting that person. So that stability comes because of the pranayama. And then calm mind is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Continuously learning because your Vijnanamaya Kosha, I mean, knowledge becomes obsolete if you don't learn continuously. So see what you're doing every day. Maintain a journal, which is very important. Study books. I mean, you are, in any case, 1 hour you are devoting learning from Narendra. Learn from own mistake. So your Vijnanamaya is taken care of. And meditation will reach that blissful state. When you reach the meditation state for even maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, automatically you start smiling because you are devoid of all worries. You know that you are reaching, you are closer to the higher self. So that takes into all aspect of Annamaya Kosha, all the Ayurvedic definition, everything is taken care of. Your body is good, your mind is good, your emotions under control, and you are in a blissful state. And what ill health can come? I've been practicing yoga for maybe 15-20 years. And last 15 years, I have not gone to a doctor for cough or cold or any of those things. 15 years, I have not gone. If you get some cold sort of things, do that Jalaneti, that is taken care of, maybe some steam inhalation that is taken care of. I had started when I was in Tata Infotech 2003, I had started one tablet of blood pressure. They say you can leave that medicine. I don't want to take a chance with that because blood pressure means every day you have to keep measuring. With your machine, if you measure it is not correct. You have to go to the doctor. I had one medicine, and that also now with this Prime Minister's generic Jan Aushadha Alaya, that hardly costs 1 rupee per medicine. Earlier it cost 15 rupees for that branded medicine. Same thing available for, so psychology also matters. Aaj tablet liya na, theek hai. The day you don't tablet, after 2 days remember, hey, yesterday I not taken tablet. Now I got headache thinking that yesterday I not taken because it is more of psychology. So that one tablet I am still taking. Otherwise, 15 years, no doctor for any of those things. So practice these things. You are still younger. You will definitely live a very, very healthy life just using yoga.